Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the What the Football channel. This is the BH and Scrubber Show. And on today's show, we are going to be covering the NFC Championship game, the Commanders against the Eagles. We didn't pull it off. They gave it a pretty good shot. It was a tough game. We're glad that they got to the championship game for the NFC. No one expected that. So that's what we're going to cover on today's show. So BH, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, that it was disappointing. It was a hell of a ride. Like I said, no one, including us, we would have been happy with 8 wins and
Yeah.
building our team, but we got way, way more than that. And like we said before, kudos to everyone in the organization and the players for coming together, because that kind of miracle doesn't happen if everyone isn't on board.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of player interviews. Zach Ertz, Jaden Daniels, Bobby Wagner, but man, just saying, but what a great locker room it was, and what a blast it was, how fun it was. I mean, just every week going for it, and not expecting, and kind of, I mean, Bobby Wagner even said, "Hey, I didn't put expectations out there. I didn't know, but I had no idea it would be this."
Yeah.
So it was good, and some of the things we talked about in the preview show kind of happened, kind of blew up in our face, but we brought them up. We said, "Hey, Saquon, we can't give Saquon those big plays," and boom, right out the gate, he breaks one. and I remember I jinxed us. I said, "Look, Miami fumbled in that other game, and then B-Rob had 2 fumbles too." I said, "Well, that's not going to happen again." Yeah. Well, Miami fumbles, and then B-Rob didn't fumble, but when you think about it, our other 2 running backs did.
Yeah.
So it was sort of that same thing. And we were able, and we barely overcame it in the other game, which only probably because we just kept fighting. Jalen Hurts was out, so a lot of things went our way. We had that great drive at the end, so it was cool. I'm glad our fans, got to see that game and enjoy it for what it is, but we kind of got away with murder, but not this game. No way, not in this environment, not against this team. I thought, it was a pretty valiant effort up until going back and looking really, towards the end of the third quarter, down by 11.
Yeah.
When Ekeler, if you stand back, it was only 11 points. And then when you have Austin Ekeler, who I love and I think was a great addition for this team, I was felt bad for him, because you could tell on the sideline, man, he knew he cost the team. You could just see the look on his face.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was over at that point. Then things just steamroll. But man, right at that point, we had gone from the offense had gone from about the 20 to around the 50, on our way down by 11. So things were, we're going good, and it fell apart then. And then the penalties steamrolled, and then it was all downhill. But we were right there. But yeah, like some of the stuff we talked about that could not happen or should not happen, happened. And that's kind of the environment that you don't want. And it was painful in a lot of ways, because, they just kept scoring touchdown after touchdown in that fourth quarter. And Coach said, "Hey," I think Coach said it best. And when he came out of the locker room, he said, "Hey, there's a lot of pain in that locker room right now." He goes, "But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We'll learn from that. We'll build from that. You don't want to ever feel that way again." So anyway, I mean, you were there, you saw it. What do you think?
Yeah. Like everybody talks about, the turnovers was a big deal. I feel like the one that McNichols fumbled was one of the tougher ones too, sort of the foreshadowing of the beginning of the end. So, and then Eckler's finished us off, and I think there was an interception later in the game even, and I think every single turnover that we had led to a touchdown.
Yes, they
28 points. You take 28 points off 55, 45, 35, brings you down to 27. So turnovers, it would have been 27. What did we have in the game?
23.
Okay. So it would have been a little bit closer. And then you could also say, well, if we hadn't turned it over, we would have went down and maybe scored a field goal, or went down and scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
So you can add points to our 23, and that kind of puts you ahead. But that's wishful thinking looking into the back. And I think they really learned their lesson here. Like you said, I wouldn't say we were paper thin, but I think like our comeback chances a lot of times were very slimish, and we just happened to pull it off. And you just can't run a team on that. We talked about it in all our previews and all our recap games. They barely made it. The last 5 games, went on the last play of the game, and you just can't go into the playoffs doing that. Although we did it, but up
We
against
did
the
it.
Eagles, it was just too much. I thought
Yeah.
the guys did a great job. I see people blaming the defense, but when you're turning the ball over and you're making the defense go back out there again, it's not really. It's tough on them to. You were even calling during the game, "Hey, we need a long drive here to get that defense to rest," and it wasn't
Yeah.
happening, and it was very difficult. I thought we kept it close for a long time, and they kept crawling back, even under the circumstances. But like you said, you're up there in Philly, and it's loud, and everything is against you, and you just can't do it, and that's fine. I thought they did a great job to get where they are, and I was happy with the game. Turnovers are turnovers. It just
Yep.
happens. I watched the Bills lost. On a
Yeah.
on a
Good point.
on their last, that tight end should have caught it.
Yeah.
He would have got the first down and they could have won the game. Who was it? Minnesota Vikings, or was it LA? Who was it driving? Minnesota driving down the field. They could have won it at the end there, and they just fizzled out. Same with the Ravens. Mark Andrews
Yeah. He had a
dropping the
bad
ball in
game.
the end zone. I mean,
Oh,
all
dude.
these teams do it, and
Yeah.
so everybody does it. And it just happened to be us this time. The Eagles were the better team. I got to hand it to them.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
They're
Good
a
team.
tough team, and
Yeah.
so I vote for my team first, and then my division second, and then my conference third. So at least somebody from our division is going to the Super Bowl representing the NFC. I'm happy about that. Again, kudos to the coaches, to the front of the house, to all the assistant coaches, to everybody that supports the team, all of our subscribers, all of our viewers, all of our fantasy football people who show up week in and week out. We're not a big giant channel, but we do have a lot of support and love coming our way. And it was a great year. It really, really was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It finished off great. And really we got so much to build upon. I mean, the best thing is, I saw Zach Ertz say, "Hey, I want to come back." He goes, "We got more to do." He was great. He talked about his off-season conditioning because I'm a lot older, and he said that my off-season it's all about my conditioning. I never stop conditioning, and which shows. I mean, the guy. I mean, he's like 34 going on 26. I mean, he just constantly open and running great routes. But now we can get ready for the free agency, and like you always said, hey, now man, we got it. You thought we had a team to come to before. After this, now free agents are going, whoa, wait a minute. I like that.
Yeah.
I like what I see there. I like that team. They're strong. They're tough. Cliff Kingsbury's coming back. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cliff Kingsbury said, hey, he's not going to take the Saints job. He's coming back. And
Why would you go anywhere?
Why would you? You always said it.
Crazy.
Why would? And he didn't. He just said he didn't even go there. I'm not even interviewing. I'm just going to stay, which is good. I think another great thing too, through free agency and the draft, we can really try. You can't fix everything, but you can really. This team can get a real boost now in the off season. And the best thing is we don't have to look for a quarterback,
right?
Because my God, man. Well, it's one thing. It's just any team will tell you if your quarterback situation is, it's bad. The fans won't admit it. They'll say, "Oh, we can go with old so and so. We'll be fine." And like, no, you won't. And
Gardner Minshew ain't going to get you there.
Exactly. And that was one of the guys I'm going to talk about, man. I like Gardner too.
Yeah, me too.
But the other thing is man, this year's draft it's bad, dude. If you need a quarterback, you're dead. Yeah. It is bad. unless you get maybe the first two, and after that, and then the other thing is free agents. It's just thank God we've got that set because we can build. And these other teams that don't have the quarterback set, they're in for rough. And and one last thing, because about our quarterback that was kind of cool is it was a rough game. I mean, they pigeonholed him. He did get some fairly deeper passes, had to keep things short. But you know what? He didn't go into a meltdown.
Right.
I mean, we saw Jared Goff, we saw Sam Darnold, and who else? There was someone else that just that just kind of went kind of down the toilet during the playoff game where they really kind of fell apart. And to his credit, he didn't have a great game, but Jaden Daniels didn't lose it and fall apart like these veterans who kind of really did. So anyway, well, we got a lot to build on. It's going to be a great off season. And as usual, we'll be back for free agency. We'll be back for the draft, and it starts all over again. But this time with some real hope.
Yeah. And lots of cap space. You forgot about that. Ton of 80 something million.
Tons of cap space. So, hey. So anyway, we get tons of cap space and people who want to come here. I mean, that's a marriage made in heaven right there. So we can really select them. I love our GM and our scouts. They pick the right people. They're already scouting. They're already out at. There's already a college game this weekend coming up. So they're out there scouting that. So
and it's a new scouting crowd too, because we had to wait to get rid of the other scouting crowd until last year's free agency and draft, and then got rid of them. And now we have our whole new, and they've probably been looking at stuff all year.
They've been tracking every potential free agent, watching them, everything, man. They're all over it, man. They're doing the work for us now for once.
Yeah.
Exactly. I felt like we were doing all the work for Ron.
Yeah.
Not anymore. We can sit back and let the adults are in charge now. So.
Yeah. All right.
Right on. Well, good job, man. It was a great season and you did a great job. It's our 4th year, right?
Yeah. This finishes our 4th year.
4 years. So it's great. And next year is year number 5. We'll be back at it.
Incredible.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Thanks, BH. Yeah, you've done a great job. I really love doing these shows. You know me, I like doing the preview shows. And of course, I like calling the game. And I'm looking forward to the upcoming free agency draft. We're going to take some time off. We need a break. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do.
All need a break. There's plenty of other people. You want to watch Perna and all them, you go right ahead.
Yep.
But we are done for a little while. We may bust out with a show here in a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. We got to talk about it. Maybe do some kind of season ending show, something. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, we done?
We're done.
All right. Great job, BH, on the year. And thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.